the creative vision come from? Do you decide to do this particular story?
I had the idea about a character who is unhappy with their life and has an opportunity to switch places, swap identities with somebody else, but then regrets it. Like that idea was with me for a while, and then I tried to sort of figure out how that could happen. And but the moment when I realized what the story could be was after I had a sort of school reunion with some old friends from Sydney, where I'm from. I hadn't seen one of them in particular in a long, long time. And it was just interesting just meeting him again and talking, realizing who he was now and who I was and the difference. And so then I started thinking about, well, maybe, because I had this idea about this one character who wants to be another character, I thought maybe he's an old friend. And so that kind of just led me to asking questions about, okay, so they're old friends, so what's going on, and was a sort of discovery process.
But I love the fact that location also is such a part of the story as well. So what was the tone you were thinking about trying to set when you said, okay, I'm going to do this? Did you have an idea of what that tone would look like?
I knew that. I mean, so it was sort of a question, like again, like asking myself questions. It's like, okay, so if we have Ryan and Jack, right? And Ryan is our hero, and Jack is the guy he's envious of. And I'm like, well, what is he envious of? Why would he be envious? And so, okay, so if it's envy, then it has to be, incredible, and it has to be on first sight. It has to have this feeling of aspiration, and so that was. I knew that the villa that we set the movie in had to be like incredible, because I want the audience, because the movie is told subjectively as well. So the audience kind of hitches along with Ryan, with Nick Stahl, and so when he comes into the film and he sees the house, his immediate reaction is, "Oh my God, I want this." And I wanted the audience to feel that too, which is why, we had to find that house, which was actually a lot, this is a low budget movie. And so we didn't really have the budget to just get whatever we wanted. And so it was quite challenging to find the house. And when we did, it was just like a real bit of luck. It was just, like a kismet.
Well, the location is stunning and the visuals are fabulous. I didn't know what to expect. And every minute I'm thinking, oh my God. And I got engaged. There were things I was saying, don't do that. Like, don't go there. I was
Yeah,
like so scared. At the same
that's
time,
great.
it was, you know, and it made you want to think about that because we do think about wanting somebody else's life and it looks so amazing, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Particularly with the social media world that we live in, where it's high, we're on these things so much, and it's sort of, and we're looking at everybody else's lives, and but it is a highlight reel that we're looking at. But we might know this, but you can sort of emotionally forget it, and
mhm.
sort of. So I think envy's always been with us, but it's certainly pretty prevalent now with the social media and stuff.
I especially enjoyed that dialogue when she's explaining, Imogene's character, and the statistics.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. So it was so relevant at the same time it's twisted, but it's like, yeah, you know what? She's got a point, but still
She's got
it's
a point.
twisted.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I mean, she's actually factually correct, which is the disturbing part of it. And yeah, my feeling was that's what Imogen tells herself, so she can continue to do this work.
Well, you've made some amazing casting choices. So of course, let's talk about, your lead, obviously. What was it like getting him involved and working with him?
Nick's great. He okay. So I mean, the movie is a sort of noir movie, which is a noir thriller, and I feel like Nick Stahl is a great noir character actor for these kind of movies where he's not afraid to go into some sort of darker territory, but he still retains a sort of relatability, and a vulnerability. And he's just a really, really talented guy. And everybody was actually everybody in the cast. The working with the cast was probably my favorite part of the whole experience because you write a script and you have these characters on the page and you think, well, this is how it should feel. But then, of course, you give the script to the actors and it's up to them on some level. And so to watch them sort of become these people was just a real joy.
Well, I absolutely love this movie. When it came to some of the scenes, looking back, did you think there were things you could have pushed up more or less? in certain
Of
moments? Were
course.
there things you had to cut out? What would that be? What would
Yeah,
it
I
be?
mean, there's so many. I think that, there's always, I've seen this movie now, I mean, I think literally about 500 times because of the editing process and the screening and the whole thing and all the dubbing and everything. So what happens is that I think initially you're sort of pleased that you've been able to do something. And then after a while, all you see are the mistakes, right? So all I see are the errors and stuff. But yeah, there are things that I would change and whatever. But ultimately, I think you have to make peace with you did your best with the time and resources that you had on the day. It's not like anybody was phoning it in, you know. So yeah, there are things I would wish were slightly different, but I don't believe that anything, nothing, none of those things are sort of torpedoing the film, you know. So we did our best.
Well, you did a great best. I love the pacing and like I love the twists and turns because I never knew what would be next. When I thought it was going one way, it went another way, which I
Yeah.
think is the brilliance of this particular film that you did. What did you come away with? I mean, you've done things, you've written things on this particular project. What did you take away on a learning curve for yourself where you look back and go, wow.
I was, a bit stressed out making the movie, and I think what I learned was that it's important to enjoy what you're doing while you're doing it. You know, it's not all about results, right? It's also in the doing. And not that I didn't have a good time in moments for sure, but just overall, I felt there was a sense of pressure just always. And I at the end of it, I was quite exhausted, and I thought, well, if I get to do this again, I want to make sure that I'm a bit looser, just in myself. So that was what I really learned about, because that's filmmaking is a collaborative thing, and it's a moving organic thing, and you kind of have to get a little bit loose and messy. I think that's part of it.
What message would you like the audience to take away? I know what I took away. Besides having fun, besides being scared, besides looking at all these different social elements you talked about, what would you want us to come away with on your personal note?
Well, first of all, I think that hopefully people would watch this movie because it's a good story and it's entertaining and it's well told and it's got great performances, And I think for as a film viewer, that's really what I'm looking for most of the time. I want to see a really good story, that unfolds. And I feel like this movie is like that in the sense that it unfolds, and I love that stuff. So, and I think there's also ideas about what's going on in our world right now, maybe about greed and money and that whole stuff. So if you want, if you it's those ideas are in there, but if you just want a good story, it's there too. So, hopefully there's something for everyone.
When it came to actually choosing your cinematographer and things like that, can you share a little bit about working with your cinematographer? Because that was brilliantly done and it really
Oh,
pulled
thank
us in.
you. Yeah, so that was Mateo Guzman, who's a Colombian cinematographer. We shot the film in Colombia, and so I was looking at Colombian cinematographers, and Mateo has made a lot of, I guess, what's called slow cinema. Very sort of artistically minded, spare kind of movies, and I had and sort of the people that were available to me to make this movie was Mateo and cinematographers that were kind of nothing like him. So. And I'm realizing that the money we had and the style that he had and everything. And then I started thinking about there's a movie called Down by Law by Jim Jarmusch that I thought was really interesting. And I thought could kind of have something that Mateo could kind of bring that energy to it. So we talked about that movie. Um, and yeah, and we sort of wanted to create something that was the idea that I was trying to create with Mateo was that we were trying to create something really seductive and really beautiful, but almost to a fault, so almost like so the beauty becomes a bit of a prison, like so it's very, very, very nice to then when things are like overly nice, they can become a bit rigid, and that was the idea. And so it's like when you first see it, you think, wow, I love this. This is amazing. But then as the film progresses and as our character realizes that he's trapped, we also feel like we're kind of trapped in beauty, like a gilded cage kind of idea. So that's what we were trying to do. And so Diana, the production designer, and myself and Mateo were working to kind of create that feeling.
Yeah. And I like the fact that it made me want to escape as well. I'm thinking, oh gosh, I want to escape as well with him. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
how does he get out of this mess? And it's just beautifully done. What do you think is your strongest strength as a director?
I think I got a pretty good bullshit detector with actors. I do. I think I can. I think I could. I think when actors are false, I can detect it fairly quickly, and I think I can pretty good at that. And I'm also, I think also, I don't know, there's always a bit of humor in everything that I'm doing, you know, like there's always a bit of dark humor. And so that's, I guess, maybe the style that I have. But it's funny, isn't it? I mean, I think you just, I think as filmmakers, we all just try and do our best and do what we do, and it sort of comes out the way it comes out. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I make a few more, we'll see what the style is.
Well, I can't wait to see more of what you do. But before we end, if you can describe this delicious thriller in 3 words, how would you describe what you wish for?
Entertaining, disturbing, and darkly funny.
Well, there it is. And it's all of those things. And thank you so much. I absolutely enjoyed it. And I can't wait to talk to you again and on your next project. So
Thanks
thanks
so
again.
much. Good talking to
Welcome.
you.